Hi, my name is Clayton Bell, and I'm the lead pastor of Trinity New Life Church, which is just north of Tampa, Florida. This is a series of videos that we've put together to be able to help anybody who might be exploring Christianity and asking questions about the faith. Each of the videos tries to give an introductory kind of surface level discussion on one particular topic, and then if there's any follow-up questions that you have or things we didn't get to in the video, there's an email address that I'm going to give you at the end so that you can contact us, and we'd love to help you continue to explore Christianity and understand the faith. Now, in this video, I want to go over the idea of where did life come from? If you're exploring Christianity, that's probably a question that has come up at some point in time, and you're thinking, how did we get to where we are today? And there's a lot of different thoughts about this, and you might think that the kind of non-Christian standard is that we evolved to this direction, and the Christian standard answer is that we just simply appeared where we are. And while origin of life is a very important question, I actually think that there's a more important, more fundamental question that we should ask, and that's, where did the universe come from? See, the very, very first scripture of the Bible is the book of Genesis, and in the chapter 1, verse 1 says that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. See, if this verse is not true, honestly, none of the rest of the Bible matters. It doesn't matter if we say that Jesus is God, because God didn't actually create everything. He is not the one who set everything into motion. He's not the one who should be our moral lawgiver. He's not the one who can rescue us and save us and lead us and know the past and know the future. So a lot hinges on this one verse. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So we have to ask the question, does our current scientific understanding close the door to that verse being true? Or does it open and provide the opportunity for that verse to still be true? So we're going to look at an argument with 3 points called the Kalam cosmological argument, which I think would show that science does not close the door on Genesis 1:1 being true. And in fact, some parts of it might point to it being very true. So again, we're using what's called the Kalam cosmological argument, which has 3 points. Number 1, whatever begins has a cause. Number 2, the universe began to exist. And number 3, the universe has a cause. So let's go through these 3 points real briefly. Number 1, everything that begins has a cause, meaning if something wasn't always, but began to exist, there was a reason that it was created. There was someone or something that created it. And if something appeared out of nothing, we should see that all the time. But we don't. We don't see that on any regular basis. So anything that began, when we see you're watching a video, you're watching this because somebody began Canon camera. You're watching this because someone began YouTube. It just didn't appear out of thin air. Because it exists, it has a cause. And anything that has a beginning has a cause for that. So that brings us to point number 2. The universe began. What that means is that the universe was not always. And to the best of our scientific understanding, this is the overwhelming consensus of our understanding of the universe. It was not always. Anything from the second law of thermodynamics to Einstein's theory of general relativity show us that the universe is expanding. It is losing heat. Again, that's where the second law of thermodynamics comes into play. And if it is expanding and running out of heat, that means at some point in time it had a beginning. Many arguments, whether it's the rebound theory or even the idea of multiverses, somehow think to disprove that. In fact, the multiverse theory does not disprove that, but it would just simply mean that the same idea has happened in multiple universes. So we start with these 2 ideas, that everything that began had a cause, and the universe began, which is our best scientific understanding of how the universe began, which would imply that the universe had a cause. And that cause, logically and scientifically, would be someone or something outside of the universe itself that created it with a purpose and with a cause. Now, this doesn't explicitly prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Christian God is true and that everything in the Bible is true, but it certainly does not close the door on him. In fact, it does begin to help us lean a little bit towards the idea that if the universe was created and everything that was created has a cause, then there must be a cause and a creator of the universe. And that if Genesis 1:1 can be true, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, then we can have a discussion inside of that of faith and science together to be able to understand how that universe was created, how it works. And part of that is, how was life created? How does life work? Many times science and faith are seen to be pitted against each other as natural enemies, and I would disagree with that, and I'm not the only person who does. The only part of science that disagrees with faith is what's called naturalistic science, meaning that all we can see and all we can measure is all that exists. That's a certain subsection of science as a whole, naturalistic science. But that's not the way that science really should operate, because science has to be open to every possibility. And faith shouldn't close itself off from science and understanding, because from a faith perspective, all we are simply understanding is the way that God has created his own universe. Now, there are things like the fine-tuning argument that really can dive into that and help even understand the argument for the creator or a designer of the universe itself. And when it comes to life, the honest reflection is that there are Christians who believe that Jesus is the Son of God, that there is one way to heaven, it is through Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, who believe all the way from theistic evolution, meaning evolution the way that we probably commonly understand it, but God guiding and moving those things, all the way to creationism, in that the earth is somewhere between 6,500 and 7,000 years old and that we just appeared. There's a wide range of ideas in between those that we can explore in science and faith if Genesis 1:1 is true. Personally, I fall in the intelligent design side, believing that the universe and earth are extremely old and that we evolved and came to be over periods of time, with God inserting different organisms and humans at different time frames. Something like the Cambrian explosion of fossils would be an argument for these ideas. But again, all of them become discussions only if Genesis chapter 1:1 is true. And based on something like the Kalam cosmological argument, I think it's very easy to see how our current science shows that this door of faith is still wide open for us to walk through. Now, if you've got additional questions about the origin of the universe or origin of life, we'd love to continue the conversation with you. You can email us at exploring@trinitynewlife.com or use the About page on our YouTube channel to contact us. Also, if you have any other questions that you'd like us to do an introductory video on, please comment below and we'd love to put it into our video queue. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you continue to explore your faith in Christianity.